lot of people are always looking for the motivation. They're looking for that motivation outside of themselves. They say, Chris, can you motivate me today? I can't motivate anyone. Nobody can motivate it. I can inspire people, just like you can inspire people, but that motivation comes from within. Intrinsic motivation is generated over time through discipline and consistency. You get up anyway, and you repeat it every day, so it becomes a new pattern. This is how we shift through commitment away from a fixed to a growth mindset with mental toughness, to think in a different way, to attract and manifest the things that we desire as extraordinary leaders, to create better communities, better work environments, to create better family structures, and so on. And looking at challenges is not an obstacle, but looking at it as an opportunity. It's a blessing. How can we grow without a challenge? If everything were easy, we would become complacent. We would become lazy. We would become bored. And then we would find things to complain about how everything is going great. It's like, if it was a sunny day every day, you'd be like, well, God, when's it going to rain? And then when it rains, you're like, when's it going to, be sunny out? So a challenge is necessary as part of the process to become, to do, and have different and better results. And when we have the ability to apply, shift that way of thinking of controlling what we can, letting go of what we can't, to commit to the process on a daily basis, to embrace challenges. These are the things that will, over time, raise our level of confidence. And what happens when we raise our level of confidence? What do you think would happen when you raise your level of confidence? Not from arrogance, not from being, egotistical, but you're raising your confidence from a place of calmness. What would you think the results would be in your life as a leader when your confidence is higher? Anybody like to share? Productivity will be higher. Yeah, 100%. Great. You would be able to influence, inspire others. Yeah, through your example, through your resourcefulness. See, great leaders don't just do for people. Remember, doers, when you constantly do, you're pleasing people, you're enabling them. When you inspire them to do for themselves through your example and your resourcefulness, you're giving them a greater gift than they can ever imagine. Somebody says, motivate the team, better work-life balance. Yeah, so you're being the example. All of those are being the example. I love it. So confidence, here's what confidence can do to impact your life. You're going to start listening to yourself from within, from your inner champion than your inner critic. You're going to understand that you're not perfect. You're going to understand it's all about progress over perfection. You're going to understand that you have strengths and you have weaknesses. You're going to understand that you're never going to be everything for everyone, nor will you please everyone. You're going to recognize that your best friend is always with you, and that is you. That without you and loving yourself, how can you be a better example for someone else in a relationship if you don't have that same feeling for yourself? That interdependency we were talking about earlier. So confidence impacts that. It impacts how you communicate to other people in an assertive, specific, clear, and concise way versus passive aggressive. It shifts you more towards an interdependent versus a codependent state. It impacts your decision making in a positive way. It impacts your ability to take risks, because without taking risk, calculated risk, how can we get ahead in life? How can we get ahead in business if we play it safe? We sit on the sideline. It impacts how we take action. So there's so many things. It impacts how we take care of ourselves. So you're going to see how all this comes together with the 8 pillars of wellness. Somebody says it improves your interpersonal relations. Yes, absolutely. So this is important why I'm sharing the information about mental toughness, to set the foundation, that first layer of the foundation to be an extraordinary leader in your business and your personal life. So how do we become mentally tough? Well, we have to look at how we use our words. Now, a lot of times people don't realize how words can be very impactful, not only to ourselves, but other people. When you look at those words, want and need, I'd like you to think about it for a minute. Use that word want or in that word need, those two action words, in something that's important to you. And hear yourself saying that to yourself and ask yourself, when you operate from those two words, are they really going to serve you? Is it really going to help you to obtain the things that you're striving to obtain in your life as a leader? Think about it. Take about 10 seconds and then write that down. If anybody would like to put in the chat box, do you agree that want and need are going to move you ahead to things or keep you stuck or keep you stagnant into the things that you desire? There's no right or wrong answer here. Somebody says no. Yeah, it's not going to move you forward, somebody says. How about somebody else? Somebody says yes, it will. Okay, we got somebody that says yes, it would. Could be stagnant, could keep you stagnant. Okay, how about somebody else? Okay, great, keep you stagnant. So think about, I want to be happy. If I'm going to be happy, that means when I want to be happy, that's saying that in order to be happy, something outside of me has to play a part in making me happy. If my wife would do this, this, and this, I'll be happy. If my coworkers would do this, this, and this, I'd be happy. Do I have control over those people? Remember, we talked about learning to control what we can and letting go of what we can't control. See, want says that you're placing the power of what you can control into the hands of other people, things that you cannot control. So how can we strive to be happy if you want to be happy? I need to be happy. Same thing. That's not serving you. Now, if we could change those words from want and need to will and desire, I will be happy means I'm choosing to be happy regardless of the situation, because I can control my attitude. I can control my communication to myself and others. I can control my behavior. I can control my emotions because it's happening for me, not to me, and my course of action. I can choose to be happy, and I will be happy. I desire to be happy. That keeps the focus on the control you can control versus what you cannot control. So too many people are striving to obtain happiness outside of their control. That something has to make them happy. A movie has to make you happy. A person has to make you happy. Remember, we talked about expectations. What happens? They go unfulfilled. That doesn't mean people are doing it on purpose. They got their own things. They're taking care of their own selves. Same thing about being successful or facing challenges or in certain times to move your business to the next level. It's being mindful of the words we say to ourselves, what we speak, how we write, type, that we use action words like will and desire in place of want and need. Now, I like to challenge everyone here. Every time you say want and need, and believe me, we all say it. I slip all the time. I have to catch myself. But write down when you say want or need, write it down. And each day, be mindful of it, and you'll start to see that you'll start saying it less and less because you're saying will more, you're saying desire more. And as you begin to remove those words out of your vocabulary, do you feel like this would have a better impact on where you are and where you're going? Whatever role or duties that you have as a leader in your life or in your business, I can tell you from experience, it does work. And those that have mastered this over time. This doesn't happen overnight, but mentally tough, that when we can establish that foundation and then align that with the other 8 pillars of or the 7 pillars of wellness, because mentally tough is a part of one of the wellness pillars, you'll see how this can all come together. So let's move on to the next slide. So first, before we start, let's take a look at what can impact the way we do what we do each day and how it can impact how we operate from a fixed mindset. So limiting beliefs are very powerful. Limiting beliefs impact our confidence levels, our self-esteem, how we communicate to ourselves and other people, how we behave, our attitudes, our emotions, and our course of action. So when people are busy and they're not productive, Limiting beliefs behind the scenes are at play. When we see things happening to us and not for us, limiting beliefs are at play. When we are pointing the finger at other people, it's their fault, it's COVID's fault, we are operating from limiting beliefs. So the thing is, we have to learn to take responsibility of what we can control. And what we can control is the ability to do certain things that will allow us to eradicate those limiting beliefs at the root level in our subconscious, unconscious mindsets to move forward. We're going to discuss that here shortly and how you can go about doing that. But these are the things that are going to be necessary that allow you to shift, into the process of controlling what you can, letting go of what you can't, and the ability to be present from a growth mindset. So as extraordinary leaders and helping to be the example and a resource for others to be, to become better leaders for themselves and passing that on through their example and resourcefulness. These are the things that would allow us to do this, to operate in the solution. So instead of managing our limiting beliefs, we can actually go deep from within to eradicate them. So let's take a look at how we can go about doing that. There are 2 habits and disciplines that when done daily can help you to do that. Now, it's not just these 2. There are other things that it could be part of your daily routine or your success foundation that will help you move into mental toughness away from a fixed mindset. But the 2 habits that are universal for just about every person on the planet are meditation and journaling. So why meditation? What is meditation going to do when you do it on a daily basis over a long period of time? What do you think what would result, when you meditate and you get into a meditative state? And let's say you do this for 10,000 hours over a period of time. What's likely to happen over that time when you arrive at that 10,000 hours? What ends up happening to your mind? You become a calmer person, keeps you relaxed, focused. Yeah, we will get rid of the toxic emotions. Absolutely. Absolutely. So think about, I know for myself, someone who had ADHD, someone that operated from anger, someone that had no patience, someone who was a codependent, perfectionist. That was me over 23 years ago. And I was the victim. I was self-centered. And as a result of that, by learning how to meditate over time and then journaling, think of it like taking out the trash. In this case, you're taking out the head trash. When you can meditate and journal right after you meditate, you're not, there's no intention, you're not over analyzing anything, you're just writing down whatever comes to mind. I know for myself, when I began to do this about 23 years ago, over time, I was able to get to the root cause of my limiting beliefs. And my limiting belief, main one, was the need for validation. I got that from my father because my father was not really present in my life. And when he was emotionally checked out. And as a result of that, I was always seeking his attention. And when I didn't get his attention, I would seek it out in other people. That's where that passive aggressive behavior and communication came from. Because I would please people. I would place high demands and expectations onto people. See that the meditation and journaling allowed me to see that. I didn't even know what it was, but now I was able to look at where the problem was coming from, and then I can, let it go. Now, did it happen overnight? No, it took a while. It took me a while to forgive my father, to forgive myself. It wasn't my father's fault. He did the best he could. He was operating from his own limiting beliefs, because I ended up finding out after he died at the age of 56 of lung cancer that his dad did the same thing to him. He was only repeating what he knew. It wasn't like he didn't care. He didn't know how to. But I didn't realize that. So these are the things that are realities in people's lives, that no matter whatever happens to you in life, it's still your responsibility to do something from it to improve your life, to improve your situation as a leader, to rise above, to be more for your family, for your spouse, for your community, for your church, for your business, your industry, whatever that may be. We all have that within our control. So meditation and journaling are the cornerstone habits that allow us to do that on a regular basis. Now, you could adopt another routine to go along with that. That can be, you could get up at a certain time. Now, I used to get up whatever time I used to get up back in the day. But for the last 23 years, I've been waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I just been doing that for a long time. It's routine. I just get up at 4. I don't even, no alarm clock. And I have a routine that I do every morning. I get up, I make my bed. It allows me to accomplish a small task, to be focused in the moment. I meditate for 20 minutes. I journal, how long that's going to be, whatever comes out of my head from the pen onto the paper. And then I go work out. I work out 4 days a week with the resistance training, 3 days cardio, and I do planks every day. I then come back, shower, eat a healthy breakfast. I read a chapter or 2 out of a book to be focused again, to take in new knowledge that I can apply in my everyday life. And then I review my daily goals and rank the priorities that I'll be focused on during the day. That's something that routine is done 7 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, and I've been doing it for 23 years. See, again, the discipline and the consistency is what it will intrinsically motivate you over time to make that shift in the way you think, to be different, to become different, to do things differently and have different and better results long term. It changes the whole way that we look at the world. We look at situations, how we look at success. This is what extraordinary leaders do. And the good news here is that we all have that capability. We're all human. There's no special person or people that are blessed to think this way or operate this way. Because I can tell you, I was a mess 23 years ago. It's all possible, but we have to commit to that process. It can't be done for you. There's no magic pill. There's no product you could buy in a box. It's all from within. Somebody says with meditation, you can also have positive affirmation that helps you achieve results. Absolutely. And somebody says it's not your fault when things happen, but it's your responsibility. Love it. Absolutely. It isn't our fault. We come into the world, we get into, but we just got to be responsible for those 5 things that we can control in those situations. Those are the things that are going to move us ahead. So the importance of the 2 habits that we discussed here to get you out of the problem into the solution. These are the things that are going to help you now to embrace the 8 pillars of wellness that are going to allow us to do extraordinary things as leaders. So these are the ingredients of mental toughness. We discussed the daily routine, and it's again, looking at, the process. It's developing a plan. Think of it like a roadmap. If you don't have a map of where you are and where you're going, and you try to operate from here, you're gonna get caught off track. So it's having a plan. Sometimes we have to take a detour. Sometimes we have to modify the plan. But as long as it gets us to where we're looking to achieve, that's all that matters. But it's, again, the ability to control what we can moving forward, focus using consistency and using that discipline, because those 2 things of discipline and consistency will never fail you long term. You're not going to like them in the beginning, but they will definitely work to your advantage and favor long term.